fépp lay fay.
sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
In the Gambia, we all move to different paces. Time is money, convenience is power, and now both are in your hands. No more long lines, no more late payments, no more missed chances. Not anymore. Because now the Gambia has its own super app, Zap. One app, one tap, endless convenience. Send money instantly, pay your bills in seconds, shop without borders, pay your rides, order your meal, buy your ticket, deposit and withdraw money for absolutely free. No extra charges, no hidden fees, only on Zap Super App. This is not just convenience. This is confidence. This is the future in your hands. And the best part, Zap is born right here. Built for us, designed for every Gambian home, every Gambian dream. So don't wait in the past. Step into the future. Download Zap today on App Store and Play Store and enjoy endless free services. Call us today on our toll-free number 1666 or on 260-0001. Zap. All in one. All for you. Tap in. Zap in.
Tuesday, the 17th of February 2026. Every Gambian knows that it's the eve of our 61st independence anniversary. We have back in the studio with us the Honorable Minister responsible for Information, Media and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Ismail Ceesay, who needs no introduction. He's here every Tuesday. That is when he is in town. But that's unfair. There was a time when he wasn't in town and he was on his platform as usual. We have him for the next 45 to 50 minutes at most because he has a press conference to hurry off to at the Sadauda Kairaba Jawara International Conference Center. For those journalists who weren't aware of the time shift, was originally scheduled for 10 o'clock, but yeah, 10 o'clock is my time, and that's why he is here. Doc,
yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
After jet setting around the world, I mean, you were in the UK, you were in Africa, you were in Asia.
No, I wasn't in Asia. Yeah, maybe
Turkey. You went to Turkey.
Yes,
Turkey. One part is in Europe, the other part is in Asia. That's the good thing about Turkey.
Yes, it is. Indeed.
You go to Turkey, you are in Eurasia. You know, as they would say. Welcome back. What was the
thank you
purpose of the mission?
Well, I was in London. I was invited by the Westminster Africa Business Association to give an informal speech. They had a dinner at the House of Commons, and I was invited to speak a bit about the Gambia, which I did. It was a very interesting night, very historic.
Why do you describe it as an informal speech?
It wasn't. I was expecting a formal speech because the letter told me I was going to give a talk, and I prepared my speech. But when I arrived at the scene and I saw Priti Patel speak and the other MP speak, they wouldn't have any. It was like an informal speech.
No,
and I had to put my speech aside.
You have prepared speeches and speeches that come off the cuff.
Yes.
The setting does not determine the formality or otherwise.
The setting does. It depends on.
Really?
Yes, of course, yes. It wasn't a formal speech that was given by the previous speakers. It was mostly informal, talking about their thoughts about things.
That's why they flew you all the way from Africa to
exactly.
To the event.
And I put my that's why I put my speech aside, and I had to also improvise and give an informal speech.
Okay. But
then that was a good one.
It still revolved around the main points of your prepared speech.
Of course, it does. It does. Even though this prepared speech was longer, and I realized that time was a constraint. Everybody was given about 2-3 minutes to just say a few words.
They're very conscious of time.
Exactly. So I didn't want to, go. I didn't want to break protocol. So I had to also improvise and do 2-3-4 minutes of speech. But it was good.
So what was the central theme of the gathering overall?
Is to explore the potentials for British Africa trade.
Oh, okay. We were just talking about that with the with the UK
So
High
we
Commission
realized
here.
that the world is shifting. Trade and investment now is the main focus, and now I think the EU countries, Great Britain, they want to revive, particularly Great Britain, trade between Africa, particularly their former colonies.
What are they looking to buy from us? I know we can buy almost anything and everything from them. But what are the British looking to buy from us?
Well, mostly is apart from precious metals from Africa, also it has to do with agro products.
What precious metal do we have? Do we have any?
Not only Gambia. This is in the context of Africa.
Yeah, but I'm focusing attention on what we have to offer. What did you take to the table? What did you bring to the table?
I mean, for Gambia, as we speak, it's mostly agro products. That is maize, sesame, groundnuts, fish products, and so on and so forth. Because these are our strengths, our comparative advantage. And we know that the UK now, mostly we have a huge population that focuses more on organic food, fruit and vegetable. And because of the distance, Gambia and the UK, 6-hour flight. Also, if you take the sea route, it's not also very far. Gambia has a potential to supply the UK market a lot of fruit and veg that is needed in that market, but also a lot of grains, a lot of groundnut, a lot of maize and other products that they'll need, but also fish products as well.
But
So-
where would we get this from? I mean, you mentioned sesame, for instance. Are we still growing sesame?
Yeah, we
in
are
this
growing. In
country?
fact, it's growing a lot, because I remember 2 years ago, a couple of Chinese came to buy sesame. They bought a lot from the Gambia here. They couldn't get what they needed. They went to Mali, and also went to Casamance to also buy more. And that has led to many farmers now growing sesame. I think it's important we reset our products as well.
Yeah.
To suit the international market. Groundnuts alone is not our comparative advantage anymore. Other countries are doing it. So I think it's important that we know exactly what the market requires, particularly in the UK, if we want to trade with them.
Okay.
Now, apart from that also, I think the UK is also looking to also enter the African market in the green energy sector, in the tourism and hospitality sector, in the real estate sector, in the industrial sector. That's manufacturing, and so on and so forth. So it's really good to explore it. We know that now they are not our biggest trading partner, even though they are a former colony. We trade more with China. We trade more, in fact, I think with Turkey, if I'm not wrong. Mostly with Asia than with the UK. I think they want to reset that relationship. They didn't want our relationship to be based only on diplomacy, but also on trade. So that is why they invited me to go there and
Fantastic.
have a meeting and network with some people, some MPs, members of parliament, policymakers, politicians, and business people to see how we can reset Gambia.
And what kind of questions did they ask about your country, the Gambia?
Well, I mean, not only. I was in Turkey on a similar mission.
Now let's concentrate in
So mostly what they'll be asking about the situation: is it stable? Are investors safe? Can they invest in Gambia? What products can they get from Gambia? Those are the kind of things they ask. Because when investors come to invest, there are certain criteria that must be fulfilled. They must ensure that their money is safe. When they invest, they get their return on investment. And their capital is safe, that the laws, the regulations are in place to make sure they're also protected. But also the most question they ask, what are the potential? Which sectors are growing? Which sectors are booming in Gambia?
And which sectors did you hold up?
I think first and foremost, the agribusiness is growing.
Okay.
The fisheries industry also is booming. Also tourism and hospitality, but also real estate as well is also growing. So
Real estate, do we still have land to give out?
Yes, of course. We have land.
Where? In the Sierra?
Particularly, not only in the Sierra, even in the Combos here, there are places where, of course, where land is available for real estate development. And we've seen these estates coming up, these apartment buildings coming up everywhere. So it's good because
But they're causing tensions because then you have communities that are uprooted. They go and try to seize land of communities where these real estate companies haven't reached yet.
I'm not aware of such.
Really?
Where communities have been uprooted. I've not seen it. I've not heard it. I know that there are, within the TDA, there are land which is available that can be used to develop apartments and hotels that can attract tourism and promote our tourism industry.
Okay, all right. So you left the UK and went to Turkey, right?
Yes,
Or
to
was it
Istanbul.
South Africa
No,
first?
to Istanbul.
Okay.
To also on the World Corporation Industries Forum. It's a big platform that brings in over 2,000 Turkish and African businessmen, and a B2B platform to discuss potential trade possibilities.
So who are you representing? Because you are not from the business sector.
No, I'm not. I'm representing the Gambia government per se. Actually, I was invited as Ismaila Ceesay.
Oh, okay.
The organizers invited me in their 13th forum, and they were happy with my submission. And this time, they also insisted that I also attend this in my capacity as a minister.
Okay. Who represented the Gambia? Which businesses did you see?
We have about 30 young businesses that went, and we had an even meeting with them because the Gambian ambassador, Kali Konde, was also there, and myself, the ambassador, and Bakari Baji had a meeting with 30 Gambian businesses.
Bakari Baji, the youth
he was also there.
Okay.
We had a meeting with these young businesses where they discuss some of the challenges they face when they want to attend these forums and how government can help, because these forums give them the opportunity.
Challenges to acquire visa mainly?
Visa is one, ticketing is two, and some other logistics. But we will handle these things. We've always promised that we'll escalate these things to see how we can help them, because when they go to these forums, it gives them the chance to network and meet other businesses.
But that was a good representation. 30 different businesses.
30 young businesses went on this trip. So they met other businesses. It was like a big trade fair. Different products on sale from, you name it, from construction to all sorts of things. So that a chance also do a B2B, business to business meetings. And then I gave an opening remark as well at that event in Istanbul. Then I went to South Africa to attend the UNESCO meeting on information integrity.
Okay, finally something under your purview. And what's the purpose of this meeting? What are you people plotting for the continent?
So what's happening is that we've realized that there is a threat to information integrity, which has consequences for national security, which has consequences for democratic integrity, but also for social cohesion. When information is not trusted anymore, particularly information from government, then there's a problem. And we're aware of this erosion of information integrity and trust in public information. So we're meeting to see what we can do to make sure that there is no threat to public information and that people trust information, but also what measures we can take to fight misinformation and disinformation. And like I said, misinformation, disinformation they're perennial. They are not new. Whereas what is new is AI and other digital tools that now can make sure that they go with speed and intensity as never before.
And more trust.
And more
believable.
Exactly. Like yesterday I woke up and someone sent me, 5 people sent me a short TikTok clip concerning my honorable minister, Ahmad
Ngany
Kumbaba.
Yes.
Where he was purportedly saying that, I know the people who are planning this, I know all of them. If President Barrow leaves me, the fullest will vote, something like that.
Oh.
But then it was AI generated. It's deep fake. But if you listen to it, you would think that it was Ahmad Kumbaba who was saying these things, but it's fake. And there'll be a time, and we are seeing this happening. They'll show a video of Peter Gomez sitting here, insulting a whole tribe or a whole religion.
Absolutely.
And before we know it's deep fake, it's manipulated.
I have been lynched to death.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So these are threats.
Luckily, so the BBC did a whole program on how to recognize deep fake.
But we can recognize, but there are people who can't recognize deep fake.
Yes.
And this short clip by Ahmad Ba is deep fake. But the people who did it are amateurs. If you listen to it, you know it's deep fake. But now they are getting better and better and better, more sophisticated in these deep fakes. And the part of this meeting was to see what measures we can take. And as a country, this Gambia is going to be the first country to establish a misinformation and disinformation response center, which is an AI-enabled platform that can counter misinformation and disinformation.
Oh, wow.
We are working on it. We are almost done. It's as a ministry, we wrote the concept note, sent it to ECOWAS. ECOWAS was happy with it and saw this as a pilot for the rest of Africa and for the rest of West Africa. We're going to launch it very soon. Now, this response center, the manner in which they use AI to promote fake news and this deepfake, we're also going to use AI to counter it in real time by making sure that such videos that comes out with governments is going to be stamped fake, so people know it is fake. So we are working on that. That is I was invited to South Africa to discuss what we are doing in Gambia, so other countries can also learn from it.
Who's funding this project?
ECOWAS.
Oh, okay, very good. And why did you conceptualize the whole project? Why did you feel it was necessary?
Because I realized that I looked at the trend and realized that if we don't do something about it as a country, we'll be in big trouble. For me, and I said it in prior when we had similar meeting, I said the biggest threat to humanity's existence, and particularly to our sovereignty, is disinformation and misinformation. The biggest threat is that. I think after the end of the since advent of the atomic bomb, which was a big threat, this now is the biggest threat to our existence. It's an existential threat. Let me use that term, because, like I said, just a slight fake news can burn an entire society.
Absolutely.
So that is why I thought about it and realized that we're in trouble, and we need to do something about it. If AI is used to amplify disinformation, we can also use the same AI to make sure we counter it as well.
Okay,
so that is where we worked on it.
So the Gambia has been identified as the headquarters of this pilot. When will implementation start? When will you start putting together the...
We're almost done. The system is almost done. We are launching it maybe in March after the Corite. We'll launch the system, and then we'll have a system at the ministry.
So it's going to be based
at the ministry.
At the ministry.
And then we'll have a media observatory whereby 24 hours we'll be checking online for fake news, disinformation, misinformation, and making sure that we, in real time, give the right.
And the people who are going to be responsible for this, have they been trained already?
We are working on it. Yes, we'll work on that. It's part of the training is part of the whole package of those who are building the system.
Okay, and will the training be conducted locally? And if locally, will experts be flown in from?
No, we have the experts here.
We have the experts.
Sometimes we think that we have the expert. In fact, the guys building this system are Gambian, local Gambian.
Oh, the system is being built here?
Of course, yes. By Gambian, local Gambian.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
We have the capacity in Gambia.
Absolutely. If that's being done with ECOWAS's blessing, so obviously there's quality there. It's the eve of our independence celebration. We look forward to you telling us how we plan to celebrate tomorrow, when we also have, two significant religious events, Ramadan, Lent, and possibly Ramadan. I'm saying possibly because I'm hearing noises that it could be tomorrow. Yes. It could be a day after.
Yes, depending on the starting of the crescent.
Absolutely.
And independence is low key. It started with the prayers on Friday, Muslim prayers.
We've been celebrating since Friday.
Yes, and then on Sunday, prayers in the churches as part of the celebrations. Yesterday was the national dialogue at the conference center, which was very successful. And tomorrow is the Independence March Past at the Makati Square, or July 22nd Square, if I may use that term. Also low-key.
I think it's changed back to Makati Square.
Makati Square, yes, Makati Square.
So it's nothing to do with July 22nd
Exactly.
Anymore.
So it's low-key. There'll be March Past. There'll be a guard of honor. And then that's it. And
is the president going
I think I understand some prominent Gambian will be honored tomorrow with medals. I'm not sure about that, but I need to confirm that. But the press will be there to inspect the guard of honor, and then the usual.
In military camouflage again?
I wouldn't think so. So it's gonna be a low-key celebration. Okay. Last year was a big one because it was a milestone 60. This one is 61st. So yeah, congratulations to everyone. I remember Bakili Rice's book, when he wrote that very famous book, The Birth of an Improbable Nation, in the 60s. When
we always remember that book,
Yeah, because it was a very pessimistic book, which said that the Gambia could not survive as an independent sovereign state because we didn't have anything, not the human capital, not the natural resource, nothing for us to survive, and that many things were proposed. One was a Senegambian confederation. Some even proposed a Sierra Leone and Gambia confederation because of the distance it could not happen. And
at some point, the Gambia was being run from Freetown.
Exactly. The Governor General was in Freetown. Some even suggested the Malta solution, which was still as a British condominium. But Sada Rajawarani's people around that time said no, Gambia could survive as an independent state. We survived. There were setbacks.
The true Gambian spirit.
Yes.
Determination.
Exactly. And I think one thing that defines our spirit is our resistance, our resilience as a country. We had setbacks. We had independence in 65. In the 70s, there was the world oil crisis, which affected our economy. In 81, there was an attempted coup by Kukoy Samba Sanyang. After that, in 1994, there was another military coup.
And then you had the economic recovery.
Exactly, in the 80s, the structural adjustment program. So it was a very difficult, but I think the key highlights were the 70s, then 81, the military coup, which really, destroyed the country. In 94, we had a U-turn. Like I said the last time, Gambia was touted as one of the multi-party democracies in the 80s. When other countries were either dictators or one-party rule, Gambia, Mauritius, and Botswana were touted as multi-party democracies. In 94, we took a U-turn towards military rule. And in 2016, another watershed moment, and today we have achieved at least three things. Which are we've achieved independence now, we've achieved democracy, and we've achieved development.
On independence, there was a rival national dialogue organized by the Center for Rights and Justice, where we all know Sidi Ajata said we still don't have independence. We're still not independent.
Well, what are we?
We're still dependent on the people who supposedly granted us independence.
No,
we still go, to them begging for this, begging for that.
No, I think Sidi must be living in the past if he says that nobody's begging anymore. Now we are trading, we are dealing, we are engaging our partners in mutually beneficial manner on a win-win situation. Nobody's begging anymore. When was the last time you hear us begging? We're not begging anymore. So I think Sidi,
the grants that come to us, that's not begging.
No, these are support that they give us as part of us dealing with them. I don't think it's begging anymore. And in fact, those grants have even reduced now. So I think now if you look at the Gambia, over 60% of our budget is sourced from local sources. So we're not begging anymore as a country. I think Gambia is a truly independent nation, a thriving, stable, secure, multi-party democracy in the sub-region, one of the fastest growing economies in the sub-region. I think we should be proud of ourselves. I think any good citizen should not be pessimistic or should not paint a gloomy or doomy picture about our country. We should be proud of our country. This is a time to celebrate our country, not to celebrate independence, but to celebrate our achievements, looking at where we started from and where we are today. And all the setbacks along the way, I think every Gambian should be proud of our achievements. This is the day tomorrow that should bring us together and not divide us.
And would that, you haven't read his message, he hasn't, talked to you about it. Or would that, you guess, be the central message of President Barrow?
Unity. Because now Gambia and the president knows that we have to unite. We've already made a lot of progress as a country, and I'll come to that later. But I think this is time for us to unite and put politics aside and put other sentiments aside and unite as a country and make sure that we build this country. The president has started the job, and you've seen what is happening. A revolution is taking place, a transformation that nobody has ever seen before in this country taking place. We've achieved 90% electricity access across the country, 90%, unprecedented. And we're heading towards 100% very soon. For the first time, I think in sub-Saharan Africa, I haven't seen it, any country that has achieved it. And the ECOWAS president has said that all the countries that has implemented this project, Gambia is leading. It's more successful. I think this is a huge, huge, huge success for the country, where people who had never, ever thought of having electricity before. I saw someone wrote that Jaras Barokunda, for decades, they didn't have light. I said, for centuries, that village is over 100 years old. They never had electricity. For the first time, they had last week. For the first time, they could put their ACs on and their fans and drink cold water without going to buy cold water. This is a huge change in people's lives, making sure they live in dignity. This is what the president has done.
You think with all the achievements that are touted on this program and, on other platforms, should have brought us together?
It should.
Because, everybody wants this kind of development.
Yes,
you want to be able to live here and get to Basse in a matter of hours, because that's what we see in other countries.
But unfortunately,
people live in France, they go to work in Switzerland, they get back the same day.
That is what the president
is
doing.
Happening now. You'd have thought that this would bring us closer together, but here we have a president who, according to you, is going to make unity the central theme of his Independence Day speech, suggesting that the Gambia, irrespective of all that is happening positively, finds it difficult, to unite and be one nation. Why do you think it's so difficult to overcome our hurdles? So, surmount, all the hurdles, whether it's religious, political, or whatever,
Yeah, Gambians are united.
And be one nation.
By and large, Gambians are united.
So why is President talking about unity tomorrow?
No, it's about the politicians who use
so the politicians are the problem.
Divisive methods to divide the population because of their selfish interest. The opposition has no alternative to what is being given by the president. All they desire is to get to power by all means necessary. And yesterday I was listening to, I wouldn't call him the boy anymore, because when I did the last time, my uncle, his godfather, was livid with me. He made a statement to say, why should I call Lord Mayor the boy, and I should respect the office of the Lord Mayor. I will heed the advice of my uncle, Lawyer Dabo. I'll call the Lord Mayor, Lord Mayor. I listened to him yesterday.
Yeah, so despite the rift, Lawyer Dabo, is still fun, still has a soft spot for...
he made a statement to say, why should Dr. Ceesay call him the boy? I should call him the Lord. So I'll respect his son, call him the Lord Mayor. People like him and other politicians of his ilk don't have any solution. All they want is to get to power at all cost.
He proposed some solutions on the program yesterday.
No, he did not. And I'll go through everything he said and to debunk everything one by one, if you permit me. Now, see, in fact, I think he should fire his backroom staff. They didn't prepare him well before his outing yesterday in this very studio. And because of that, they failed to prepare him. He exposed himself